My name's Tom Palmer and I am a children's author, and I've had an email from Sheringham Community Primary School, and they've been asking me some questions about my book Secret FC. So what I thought I'd do is I could answer a few questions which Sheringham Community Primary School have sent me about the book, and talk a bit more about the book, and then it'd be quite a useful video to have on my website. So first of all, thank you to Sheringham Community Primary School for getting in touch. So Secret FC. This is a story of two girls who are in a school where football is banned, and the headmaster has banned football, and they secretly start a football team, particularly the two girls with some of their friends who are boys, and that's the basic idea of the story. And I'll just answer the questions from the school, and then I wanted to show you something interesting, because this is a book which has had 3 different covers. So I thought I could tell you a bit about the different covers it's had, and you could decide which one you like best. Anyway, here are the questions. Why did you write Secret FC? Well, I was asked by Puffin, the publisher, to write Secret FC the first time, and what I wanted to do was write a book particularly about girls playing football, because there weren't many books about girls playing football. I have one child and she's a daughter, and I know it's really important for me to have books with sport involving boys and girls. So that was the basic idea behind me wanting to write Secret FC. But also because I've been to quite a few schools where football had been banned, really because they didn't have space for playing football. I suppose they didn't have playing fields, and so football was banned in some schools, and I wanted to write a story about that. Next question, how long did it take to write? To be honest, it didn't take me that long. It's quite a short book, so I would imagine I think it's about 8,000 words, and it probably took me a month, because I was really into it and I did it quite quickly. And the only thing I had to research was the history of folk football in I think it's the 14th century, which is a part of the story, because in the 14th century football was banned, because the king wanted people to do archery to help them be better in war situations. So I researched a bit of that. So it took me about a month. Next question. Was your school banned from playing football like in your story? No. But like I say, I have been to some schools where it has been banned. Next question. Why did you decide to write a football-themed book? When I started writing, I wasn't very confident about writing, and I needed confidence from somewhere. And because I like football and know a lot about football, I thought it would be good to write about my hobby. Now, and that's why I wrote this and some of the other books I've written, but now I'm more confident as a writer. I can write about other things, like I write about books set in historical periods, I write about other sports, and I write just generally non-sports books as well, because now I've got my confidence from having a few football books published. I can write about other things, which is kind of like me in reading, because I struggled with reading initially, and what got me into reading was reading about football, so it's a bit of a parallel. Next question. Who inspired you to start writing? My mum inspired me to start writing by getting me into reading. She got me reading about football, which gave me stamina to try to read books as well. Going to the library and borrowing lots of books inspired me to be a writer, because I learned how to read, and I learned the different kind of things you could read. And finally, the other person who inspired me to write was my wife. She has always been really encouraging of me, supporting my writing, and without her I wouldn't be a writer, because she gave me the confidence and she gave me the belief, and actually she let me work part-time for a year so I could write my first book, which was very good of her, so thank you to her. Right, Men, how many Secret FC books have you sold? I'm not sure, but I think it's about 6,000 or 7,000, but I might be wrong. I should have found that out before doing this, I'm sorry. How do you plan a story? I plan a story with a big sheet of paper. I make a sort of spider diagram, and then I break it all down, so I tear it up and I put it in the right order for a story, and then I type up the plan from that. But it starts with a big piece of paper, sometimes post-it notes as well, all jumbled up and then put in the right order, and that's where the story plan comes from. And planning is really important, because planning, rather than being a waste of time, actually saves time. I save loads of time by planning, so I don't have to rewrite big chunks that I didn't really need to write. Right, where do I get my ideas from? wherever I am. So this was from going into a school where football was banned. Another of my books is about a haunted football stadium. So I went past a creepy old football stadium that had been abandoned, and I thought that would be a good setting for a book. So it's often things I see, things I read in magazines and such. Was your favourite author? My favourite author, children's author, Anthony Horowitz and Rosemary Sutcliffe. They're my two favourite children's author. And my favourite ever author is Emily Bronte, who wrote Wuthering Heights, which is set just up over the hills quite near where I live. Right, I wanted to tell you a couple of things. When this book was first published, it was first published by Puffin, and this is the cover. So that's the cover that it first came out at, so I'll let you have a look at that. The second time it was covered, it was published, it had a cover like this. And the third and my favourite cover really is this one. But I shouldn't have said that now because I've prejudiced you. But I'd like to know which in order 1, 2, 3 in your class, which cover do you like best and which don't you like and why? Because it's exactly the same book, but it's completely different covers. And actually, there's different blurbs as well. So that's the blurb on one of them. I don't know if you can freeze this and read it. And that's the blurb on another one. And these are actually different publishers. So the first time it was published by Puffin, and then Barrington Stoke published it, and then they gave it a new cover. And this is the current cover that you can read. And also, I wanted to set you a clue. If you've got this book, set you a quiz. If you've got this book, you'll see that the chapters all have different titles. Like chapter 1 is called The Railway Children, and chapter, should have prepared this, shouldn't I? Chapter 15 is called Let's Play. And if you look at all the titles, there's a reason all the titles have got those the names, and it's not to do with my books at all. I just thought it'd be interesting that could be quite an interesting challenge for you if you've got the time, which you probably haven't. Anyway, thank you very much for listening to my Secret SC talk. I hope it's useful. Thank you again to Sheringham Community Primary School for asking me to do this video. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope anyone else who watches it enjoys it too. See you later. Thank you.